It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
All you people out there who are like, these idiots don't know anything. First of all, you're right. And second of all,
I'm just a dad talking in a closet, but I'm just saying.
And Brando.
We have this trust built on whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
All right, welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast. I'm John. I'm here with my buddy Brando. We're recording this on a Thursday evening, so I'm going to be doing double duty tonight, editing this, getting it out to you guys tomorrow on a Friday morning. This episode is brought to you guys by Small City Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York, you got to call my guy, Zach Korzelius at Small City Realty. And that number is 585-409-1088. 585-409-1088. So, Brando, you and I have gotten some golfing in lately. I just got back from a round. Mercifully, after 9 rounds, it ended.
Mercifully. How do you feel when you finish 9 holes of golf? Do you want to play more? Do you feel satisfied? How do you feel?
So this might be controversial because everyone says oh, you're just halfway there. You know, most people are like, the back 9 is the best 9. Sometimes in the middle of Tennessee summers, after 9, I'm good. Yeah. My grips aren't brand new. My hands are blistering already at that point. Everything's sweaty. Whatever sunscreen you put on, if any, at that point has totally melted off, and you're probably going to get sunburned after that. Yeah. I mean, there's relief in the shade, when there's a little bit of a breeze, but other than that, I mean, it's 85 and the humidity is higher than God knows what. It's pretty rough. And
you're really hoping not to get the shade because that means you're in the woods or you're behind a tree. You know, you want to play in the fairway, so you don't want to be in the shade, generally speaking. So,
well, Brando, I got plenty of shade today. But
we were just talking, and I get to play a ton. I'm lucky working at a golf course and running a golf league for my school. So, I mean, I'm at my 30th round of the year last weekend or after school, whatever day I played on. But I can't just do 9, man. And maybe it's because Rothlands has 27 holes. I've just gotten so used to playing all 27 holes. It's just, I can't get enough. 9 holes is the warm up. And then 18 after that, it's let's do it. And if I could play more after that, if my back holds up, I would do it. And it's the next day I get a little sore, but I can't just play 9. It's only 9 drives, and it's not even 9 drives because there's a few par 3s in there. So it's you're not even really, you're not full. If you hit a couple bad drives to start and you're oh, you finally hit a good one, and it's oh, this is it. It's going in the bag. We're done. Put the cover on. So I'm a big fan of playing as much as possible. I like the marathons. A couple of our buddies, you take golf trips, you do 2 rounds in a day, so 36 holes. That's pretty fun. You do it on a Saturday, Sunday. You play 50. What is that? 36 plus 36 was at 72 holes. So
it gives me immense respect for the guys who do the 100 holes for charity. I think Josh just did 117 in the rain. My God, I'd be so tired after that. But hey, I mean, there's worse ways to burn calories. Golf is one of the best ways. I don't know if my watch double counts it because it's got the golf app going on and that sends info to it. But always after a round of golf, it's you burned 1,000 calories. And I'm I think it's probably half of that. It might have doubled with the information sent from the app or something like that. There's worse ways to burn 500 calories.
If you drink 5 beers out there, though, you're putting them back in.
Yeah. Yeah. So
acceptable, right? That's acceptable.
Yeah. I think you got to refuel.
Yeah.
So this is probably something you didn't think you were going to hear from me. Lover of beer, John Korzelius here. Huge lover of beer, all kinds of beer. I can't
especially the bad ones, the big heavy duty IPAs.
I love IPAs. Give me a heavy stout, anything. I'll find a way to appreciate almost anything, unless it's Bud Light or something like that. That one of those beers. But I can't drink on the golf course. It makes me so bad. Yeah, bowling, it's super juice. Get a couple beers in me. I'm a better bowler. Golf, not even close.
It's a good discussion
when it's hot outside too, and I think that's just a Tennessee thing. If it was
no,
50s,
it's a New York thing, especially these, in the winter or in the summertime. You're playing on 85-degree days in the sun. A little breezy up here though, but
yeah.
I'm with you, man. I can barely focus on a ball if I'm stone cold sober. You give me a couple beers on top of the heat, I'm sweating, get that little headache going, maybe get a little rumbly in the tummy. And if it's not a nice course, they don't have that nice halfway house. You're looking at the outhouses and you're like, oh, I don't know about this. And it's tricky. So this goes to my next question for you. We're going to talk about balls for a second, golf balls. I got gifted a dozen Pro V1s.
Good specification there.
Yes, golf balls. I got gifted some Pro V1s and I'm kind of afraid to use them.
Brando, I'm in this same exact boat. I've got a box of Pro V1s in that closet over there that I got for Christmas or my birthday. I don't remember. They're pretty close anyway, but have not even taken the plastic off of the box yet because I'm like, but now I just got through 9 holes and I only lost 2 balls. And I feel
still
like
$10 if you're playing 2 Pro Vs.
I feel like I could have avoided those without being stupid. Like if I was playing a Pro V, I wouldn't have taken a big swing with a 3-wood, off the deck halfway through a par 5,
But you don't want to think about that either while you're playing. You want to be focused on where's this ball going to go? How's my swing going to go? You don't want to be like, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this. You don't want to play scared, right? So
right. I think it's a smart thing for me. Like I knew what I was risking when I took that swing, and it went exactly how I thought it was going to be. Snap hook to the right, into the woods. But
well, speaking of losing balls, this is going to be the transition into our Buffalo Bills topic here. We're going to talk about Josh Allen losing the ball for his team, throwing interceptions. We talk about if you hit a tree in a golf match, you might hit it perfectly and it just pops out of bounds. You're like, shoot, that was a perfect shot, tricky bounce, unfortunate. I think the equivalent here for Allen would be like an arm punt, right? You have a good throw down the field that goes 60, 70 yards. The other team catches it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like you made good contact with your swing. Like the foundational, anatomical, physiological sequencing is there, but the execution was just off a little bit. So we're looking at Josh.
To catch everyone up who hasn't followed the 7-layer metaphor here through Brandon's wisdom, we're going to talk about Josh Allen's interceptions from this past year. And it'll be interesting going forward because obviously the team is going to look different. Mm-hmm. We're going to look at every single one of his interceptions from last year, the tally of all of them, compare them to a quarterback like Tua, who is not known as a turnover machine, like sometimes Josh Allen is argued to be. So really the whole premise of what we're kind of looking at is, is the number of interceptions he throws truly a problem, or can we fully defend it? Does he make up for it by being an amazing freaking quarterback? So we're going to look at that and keep going on what you're going, because I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm thinking about how valuable it is to lose a Pro V1, how upset it is, and how valuable each possession in the NFL really is, especially when you're playing a good team and you have a balanced approach, kind of like the way the Bills played under Joe Brady. You only might get 7 or 8 possessions in a game. And I want to say the Bills under Brian Daboll and maybe even a little under Ken Dorsey had one of the highest points per possession in the NFL at one point. And when you lose those possessions, it can change the tide of a game. I know we were talking about, or maybe a Tampa game. We see the fumble early in the game, and then we see, the turnover at the end of a half sometimes, and it helps another team go double dip. And that really can increase the winning percentage for a team if they're able to score at the end and at the beginning. So the timing of the interceptions versus, if you hit a ball out on a par 5, it might not be as devastating as if you hit a ball out on a par 3. So we're going to keep this golf analogy rolling here. It's going to get a nice roll out on the middle of the fairway. I didn't mean to do that one. So when we look at his interceptions, we look at 30 interceptions in his last 30 games. We're not talking touchdowns at the moment. We're talking about interceptions. Let's break them down. All right, week 1, really bad throw against the Jets. We saw that arm punt, tried to force it to Diggs, 3rd and 8, had the running lane wide open. Remember that game?
Yeah.
All right, and then he had a 2nd down interception, bad throw, 3rd interception on a 3rd and 2 from your own 42. So that was a tough game. They have a good defense. They always play well against Allen. Nothing against Las Vegas in week 2, which is nice to see him bounce back, which he often does. The interception against the Commanders, 3rd and 20, arm punt down to the 19. It's like a punt inside the 20.
I remember that one. I think that was intended for Gabe. I don't remember. I think I remember.
Was that the
one.
bad play by Gabe where Gabe kind of left it
I don't
up
remember.
there?
Maybe I'm confusing that with the play. There was a deep ball that Gabe caught in that game as well. So
yeah. And then, Miami, he just lights them up. No picks against Miami. Against the Jags, this was a tough game for the offense as a whole. I remember this was where I said the defense was playing out of their mind, kind of like remember the Titans, they won't gain another yard, and you got the injuries and Milano's out, and the Bills get the stop that they need, and they can't put the points on the board. But the interception got them down to the opponent's 6, right? It was a good kind of flip of the field, 3rd and 15. Interception against the Giants. I mean, I don't totally remember this game that much, but I want to say it wasn't that close, right? It wasn't as close as it wasn't
I think that one was just a bad throw. Same thing, week 7, bad throw.
Yeah.
1st and 10 from own 24. That's the spot where you can't do that. And again, the next week, 1st and 10 from own 25, bad throw versus the Buccaneers. So seeing a pattern? I don't know. But at least it's only one a week at that point, right?
Well, that's kind of what you hope for. And then you're looking at, when does the switch happen here? We switch from Dorsey to Brady at week 10 after the Broncos game, right? We had 2 interceptions in a game that we lost. That game was terrible, right? That was a stupid game.
So it'd be week 11. It was after that Broncos game.
So we're looking at 11 picks under Dorsey in 10 games. And when we look at the rest of the season versus the Jets, the stupid end of the half Hail Mary, I don't like those anyways. It's just, I feel bad for Josh when he throws picks on that play because it just feeds the narrative when you look at the stats and the box score lookers. It's like, oh, Josh had another pick. I'm like, well, he threw that ball 80 yards. So it's like, who cares? End of the half. The Eagles was another tough game because you really could have used another possession when you're marching the field all day long. 506 offensive yards. Tough game. Didn't mess up on the bye week. Maybe he golfed, maybe hit a ball out of bounds in this bye week, but
he's got plenty of money to buy as many Pro V1s as he wants, unlike the rest of us peasants. So
does he play Encore balls?
I don't even.
Is he sponsored by Encore?
That's a good question. Wouldn't that stink to be a pro athlete and be sponsored by like a crappy golf company and then have to play crappy golf balls?
Hey, Encore VRX2s are good balls. All right. They're top of the line balls are good balls.
I believe you. I'm just saying it's not Titleist.
No, it's not Pro V1. I'm sure if he's finds his way into a Pro V1 and there's no cameras on him and there's
I didn't know what an Encore ball was until 30 seconds ago. So.
Oh, really? You never heard of Encore?
No.
Interesting. Yeah, Encore. They're in Buffalo. They're a Buffalo brand.
Okay.
Actually, let me grab
it. Now I feel bad. They're from Buffalo.
Yeah. Look at right here. I got the Encore.
I take back everything I said, and I will buy Encore golf balls from now on since
Mafia
they're from
Nation.
Buffalo.
I want to even say there's like some sort of donation that goes into it. I wouldn't be 100% sure about that, but I don't want to say that.
Now I feel bad.
But yeah, you should feel bad, man. You should feel bad.
Oh my God.
No, that's okay.
I was thinking they were some overseas company that makes cheap golf balls.
No, that's funny.
All right. Well, don't take
we see Kansas
seriously.
City is week 14, right? One interception, still ended up in a win. Dallas, they ran the ball the whole time. Bad throw against the Chargers. Bad throw against New England. That last Dolphins game, I mean, we needed it. We needed to have that game, and he still had 2 picks that game. But 2 picks in 2 games against the Dolphins, can't be too mad about it. Arm punt at the last interception of the year, 4th and 2. Again, you give me less than 5 yards, Josh, just tuck it and run it. Don't throw the interception. You got a better chance to pick it up. So all in all, what do we have here? 12 bad throws, 4 arm punts, 1 Hail Mary, 1 drop, and 11 picks under Dorsey and 7 under Brady, which is interesting. Let's talk about that for a second. 11 picks under Dorsey, 7 under Brady. We talked about the play calling percentage, pass versus run. And we saw that it shifted probably 6 or 7% more for the run with Brady compared to Dorsey.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. Less opportunity. So and the reduced games. So you've got, what is it? 10 games with Dorsey and 7 games with Brady.
Yeah, so one less interception, I guess.
That's almost like the same. He's throwing one interception per game week at the NFL. He ended up with 18 last year.
I think one number that stands out here is his 1 red zone pick because he went so long without having one. right? That was a really cool stretch of time. But
so anyway, we've got Tua's stats alongside here. Looking at Tua's last season, we won't go play by play down all of his picks. You know, rest assured, there's some bad decisions in there that would make Josh Allen's decisions look good.
There's actually 11 bad decisions. Yeah.
I was going to say, including throws into quadruple coverage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
2 pick sixes.
Yes. That's also a thing that Josh Allen doesn't do is throw pick sixes.
2 red zone interceptions.
Anyway,
I feel like Allen's going to make the play, right? Tua's not making the tackle. Allen will make a tackle.
Right. So to tally up Tua's picks, he has 11 bad throws to Josh Allen's 12, 1 arm punt to Josh Allen's 4, which, you know, Tua's arm doesn't seem like a punting arm. Tua's pick, 0 Hail Marys, 0 drop passes, 7 games with 0 interceptions, which is the big difference between him and Allen. Allen only with 2. 2 red zone interceptions for Tua, 2 pick sixes, and all under the same offensive coordinator, whereas Josh actually, you know, obviously had the switch there.
Yeah. So we look at those numbers as a whole and we say, you know, there's good and bad for both of them. But the crunch time comes when you have to win games, right? We talk about close games in the NFL. The Bills have had a very interesting trend with their schedule with close games. And now this past season, Bills lost 7 games and the largest margin is 6 points, right? We are in every game with Josh Allen. I don't think they've ever really been blown out outside of maybe the Bengals game. And maybe there's the Colts. And then you look at the score of 1-score games. Now this goes back to a few different years here. So the Bills they were 2-6 as of last year. This is a Buffalo News article by Trinity. Well, it's not Trinity Audio. It's by Mark Goggin. Trinity Audio is how you can listen to the article live.
Nice.
So they were 7-3 in 1-score games in the 22-23 season, 0-6 in 2021, 6-1 in 2020, 4-6 in 2019, 3-3 in 2018. And then you get outside of Josh Allen's era and we're 6-3 in 2017, a big reason why we broke the drought. So that gap is super important. And what did we say? About half the games in the league are decided by 1 score or less?
Yeah, just under half, 46.5%.
So when you're talking the importance of each throw and where the picks are and are there points off the turnovers, Allen makes up for it when it needs to be done. And when it gets to crunch time and the team needs a play or the team needs a completion, well, we're looking at the fourth quarter stats, right? So fourth quarter QB rating, right? Do you want to go through that?
Sure. Yeah. So this is interesting because it's Josh all the way. Josh is the best fourth quarter rated QB of 2023. I'd be interested to see how this goes back, but we've always kind of been on that narrative that Josh's fourth quarter clutch, doesn't throw as many interceptions in the fourth quarter. That's the quarter where he's dialed in. Usually, you know, if they're losing a game at that point, it's because he dug himself a hole and hasn't played well to that point. But fourth quarter, Josh shows up. So his fourth quarter rating is first among quarterbacks in the league in 2023 with a 104.5, followed by Dak at 96.3, Mahomes at 71.7, obviously a down year there, and Tua at 75.9. When it comes to fourth quarter touchdowns, Josh leads the way with 7 passing, 5 rushing for 12 total in 2023. Dak has 8 passing, 0 rushing. Mahomes had 4 passing, 0 rushing. And Tua also had 4 passing, 0 rushing in the fourth quarter. So fourth quarter is where the money is made as far as your quarterback, but I feel like there's a good counter argument to that as well, which is obviously all 4 quarters count on the scoreboard.
Yes.
So you can score your touchdowns in the first quarter or you can score them in the fourth quarter. It's like, obviously if you're in a 1-score game, like that matters, but you know, you're free to put up 50 points in the first 3 quarters and not have to worry about your fourth quarter quarterback rating because your backup's in or something like that, which to be fair, wasn't any of these other quarterbacks anyway this year, except for maybe Tua on a couple of games where 70 points were put up against the Broncos. But
can I give you 2 career numbers here? I'm going to give you fourth quarter career, like come from behind drives or game-winning drives or fourth quarter comebacks. And I'm going to give you this season's quarterback rating. And I'm going to give you player A and player B, and you tell me which one's which. All right.
All right.
So player A, fourth quarter comebacks, he has 13 and he has 19 winning drives. And this past season, he has 104.5 rating in the fourth quarter as a quarterback. This other quarterback has 14 fourth quarter comebacks and 16 game winning drives, but his fourth quarter QB rating is only 70.9. So would you like to take a guess at which quarterback has the better fourth quarter stats?
I was going to say, so Allen is first and Mahomes has got to be second on that list, right?
Yep, but Mahomes' fourth quarter rating is approximately 34 points less than Allen.
Right. At least that's just 2023, right?
That's just for 2023, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he has more game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks. But Mahomes has a little bit longer sample size. He has more playoff games. So when you look at that, it gets a little bit different. And he's done it in the Super Bowl. But in the regular season, Josh Allen shows up in the fourth quarter to the point where I would say he might be the better fourth quarter quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. What do you say?
I mean, we see the Josh Allen clutch stats. I mean, there are a lot of things that Allen and Mahomes are neck and neck in.
Yeah.
First three quarters, Mahomes has probably got the stats. And again, this was a down year for Mahomes where, I mean, they had their clunkers. They had their, bad games along the way. They didn't have a lot of help in the wide receiver room and still got it done because their defense played lights out in a lot of situations. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like what's your gut feeling? 2 minutes left to go. Who marches on the field for you?
Both of them. They both do.
Like if you have to pick one.
Only because I've seen Mahomes do it in the Super Bowl. If it's like week 4, regular season, give me Allen all day long. Until Allen beats Mahomes in the playoffs, Mahomes is going to own this title, I think. But I think Josh is better in the regular season. I mean, the regular season head-to-head matchups, Josh owns them now. It's not really close. It's multiple years in a row, maybe 4 out of 5.
Three in a row, actually. Yeah, 3-0. Last 3 in the regular season. But again, it's the complete opposite in the playoffs. So tale as old as time. We talk about all this stuff of the offseason, and like next year, it might come down to the same damn thing. And I don't know.
I just see Mahomes scampering with a sprained ankle for 40 yards in the Super Bowl. It's like, if this guy's doing it now, he can do it anytime. But I just want Josh to get the opportunity to show that he can do it too. And that's the tough part. And he did it. He showed it in 13 seconds. He showed that he could do it. He did it twice back against the wall. And the other thing about the playoff stats, you want to talk about Mahomes having bigger opportunity. The Bills have not been losing their playoff games by 1-score games either. They are blowing teams out. They blew out New England. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Colts was close, but Allen played great in that game still, and
Steelers as well.
Steelers game blew out the Steelers.
Dolphins game was close.
Dolphins game was good. I mean, Allen played pretty good in that game. I think that's more on Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
But even the Houston game, he didn't play bad. He was just a little crazy, but still exciting. I mean, what can you ask him to do at that point in his career? So
right. I think honestly, like, this is all narrative based. I'm not going to pull out a bunch of stats here, but like it feels like the defense is a little bit anti-clutch in the playoffs.
Yes.
When the offense needs a drive, more times than not, they can get it done.
Yes.
When the defense needs a stop, it feels like they absolutely can. And when they do, like, that's when it feels like, I mean, there was maybe 1 or 2 games last year where they really got to stop where they needed to, and it felt good, but
I think of the Taron Johnson interception against Mahomes. They got their stop, right?
Right.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. That was a regular season game. Not this past year, but the year before that. So,
I think if you're taking the players side by side and you're taking the intangibles, you're taking the size difference, you're taking their speed, their ability to shed tackles, their arm strength, their accuracy, and their decision making, and their fourth quarter numbers, I think Allen has the edge because he can scramble better than Mahomes. He's faster than Mahomes. I mean, you saw what he did to Kiko Alonso. You've seen him stiff arm Matthew Judon. You've seen him do it against the Cowboys. Mahomes doesn't have that sort of highlight reel when he's rushing the ball. So if you're putting them statistically, if you just throw an expansion team in London or you throw an expansion team in Spain and you put those 2 players, different coaching staffs on a random roster without Andy Reid and without Travis Kelce, and you put like a totally neutral setting except for each quarterback on each side, I think Allen's probably going to be the guy that you take. Is that crazy?
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, that argument becomes a lot easier when the results show for that. Everyone also always forgets the team around the person. I think Josh Allen is more physically gifted. So maybe you could say at this point in their careers, he still has the higher ceiling, because like Mahomes is a precision passer. His tendency to rush has gone down lately in his career. He doesn't have hardly any rushing touchdowns. He's always looking to throw and doesn't have that like crazy threat of his legs. And I really
it's still there, but it's not Allen. Like Allen's getting carries designed for him.
Right. But
that I think makes, if it's neutral and you don't have Andy Reid in the play caller's booth and you don't have this, you just put player A and player B together. I think Allen is the guy, even if he hasn't shown it in the Super Bowl yet.
Right. So give me your prediction. How many interceptions does Josh throw next season?
17.
How
many did he have this year?
18.
All right, give me 15. You go
15?
knock it down. Less than one a game. Yeah.
All right.
I think we're going to run the ball more. I think he's going to have a lot easier routes to throw to, these underneath crossing patterns. I feel like that's Josh's bread and butter, being able to fit them in. Excuse me. Even if we think of Josh.
Brando can fit a burp into a podcast sentence.
Sorry. Yeah. We think about Josh throwing the balls deep all the time, and he can do that, but there's such more risk involved. Two defenders can make their way over there, but with this new design offense, and again, these rushing numbers I think are going to go up as well. So less opportunity to throw a pick, easier routes. We're not going to see this 20-yard out route comeback that gets cut off all the time and intercepted, when he probably had 3 of his interceptions on that one route because it was on film so much with Ken Dorsey. So I think with the mix up of the offense, he's still going to throw them. It's still going to happen. I bet you he still has 3 Hail Mary interceptions and arm punts put together, so that's still going to happen, but no red zone picks this year, 0 pick sixes, maybe 10 bad throws.
I'm going to go with 12 picks next year. Ultra low, just because I'm team optimism here. But
what would Vegas's line be on this? What's the line?
That's a good question. You want to look that up really quick?
I don't think they have it.
They might have it for season-long interception. I don't know if they have season-long stats yet, but yeah, I think that the difference is going to be like, there's not going to be any weirdness of, hey, do I have to force the ball to Diggs? Because whether that actually came from Diggs wanting the ball, or whether that was just a product of, I know where my best receiver is on the field, I'm going to have a tendency to try to go for him. Like, we've all played Madden and like already had an idea of where we wanted to go to with the ball ahead of time. Yeah. And really what we should be doing is just reading the play and passing to whoever's open at that point. So all things created equal, and this is, an offense that's going to feed many mouths instead of mostly one. I think that I'm just going to say that could be a benefit. Like, I don't think it's overly optimistic to think that. And
it's not. I don't think it is. You're throwing to your buddy. I mean, when I'm playing hockey, I'm playing with my buddies. I'm trying to get the puck to them, even if it's a questionable pass sometimes. But I'm not making $43 million a year, playing at the highest speed available. So
you're not?
There's got to be some of that there, though, for Allen and Diggs, you think?
Yeah, I think so. But you see if they had a line on anything?
I couldn't find it. Yeah, I couldn't find it. I did see that betting his over interceptions per game hit like a lot last year.
Yeah, so, over 1.5 interception, or over 0.5 is
over
probably
0.5. Yeah.
Now that probably made it into negative money later in the year, but probably starting out at plus 100. So yeah.
Cashed it on the first 2 drives of the Jets game.
Right. It really is. And again, like, not all interceptions are created equal, not just for how Josh is throwing them, right? Bad decision, bad throw, arm punt, tipped pass, all that stuff. Not all interceptions are created equal in the outcome of it, because arm punts, if the ball, if a team is starting at their own 20 versus like, hey, did you just give up an interception in your own end and give the other team a short field? Yeah. Because then you're not looking at it as just a failed possession, but it's like a double whammy where it's like you're giving the other team at least 3 points right there, for free.
I'm interested to see. I want to see how the running game changes it too. Are we going to have defenders respect the run a little bit more? Is Dalton Kincaid going to take the coverage that Stephon Diggs got? Could it be harder for him to get open, giving somebody like Curtis Samuel more room to use his speed? How much is Curtis Samuel going to break off? Or Khalil Shakir? I just think Curtis Samuel's speed is next level. Khalil Shakir's average speed. But if Curtis Samuel breaks one early in the season, now it's got to be game plan for. Somebody else might get open. You know, what is our offense going to make the defense focus on the most in their game plan and their prep?
Yeah, exactly.
So something fun to look for. And hopefully Josh Allen does not lose as many balls as we lose golf balls.
Again, I'm predicting 12. So one full box of Pro V1s or whatever. What was the brand you said again? Encore.
Yeah.
Encore. All right. Well, I'll buy some Encore balls as penance for.
I feel like you have to now.
I do have to now. If they do custom balls, maybe I'll get some NABP ones. Then we'll.
I think they do, and they do the Josh Allen Bills Mafia ball too.
Nice. Yeah. Got Billy Beer hats on the side. We'll be good. But I wanted to ask you about. So, did you see? Not to just totally switch gears here, but you see the Oilers head coach Chris? I don't know how to say his last name.
Playoff experience.
Yeah.
Bologna sandwich comment. Yeah.
Right. Slamming the Bills. For those of you who didn't hear it, he was asked if championship experience matters, mostly in regards to the Panthers having been there a lot more and had more championship experience than the Oilers to that point, or at least in recent years by far.
Only one Stanley Cup final appearance, though.
Right. And his response was, you can ask the Buffalo Bills how much championship experience matters.
Boo.
It's like, come on, dude. I almost did. I couldn't come up with a full top 10 for it. I almost thought about, like listing the top 10 things Chris Knobelich or whatever his name is, doesn't have experience in. Number one is the NHL he never played in the NHL. Yeah. But anyway,
that's funny.
I'm
kind of rooting for Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to say that stupid stuff because Ken Holland is their GM, former GM of the Red Wings, the guy I met and talked to over and over and over when he was in Buffalo. I sat next to him on a plane. Super cool story. Yeah. Connor McDavid, the greats get their rings. Like Josh Allen will get a chance here at some point, I think. Connor McDavid and Josh Allen. Connor McDavid's better than Josh Allen is at football. Connor McDavid's better at hockey than Allen is at football.
You think so? I think
McDavid's better than any athlete in their current sport, except maybe Luka Doncic in any of the sports. Yeah, McDavid's like almost like the best in it. And that's a good topic. That's a good conversation.
Vintage LeBron, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Gretzky, Crosby in his prime, and McDavid. He's filthy. It's stupid. There hasn't been anybody as good as him in a really long time. So him get
one
a ring,
ping pong ball away.
Yeah, always. I don't even want to talk about it. So. And then you got all the former Sabres on the Panthers.
Right.
So that's a heart tie. Like, do you want to see Sam Reinhart and Kyle Poso and Brandon Montour and even Evan Rodriguez get a ring before Connor McDavid? Like, I don't really.
I don't need to.
Because like Ryan O'Reilly, Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart, and then you got Evander Kane.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So
anyway,
it should be a good series.
Someday. Remember my big sports prediction for this offseason. And I'll put it down again on film because I forgot to clip it last time and I've already, put that episode into the cloud and don't need to download it again. This season will be a growing season for the Bills and the Sabres. And the next season, 2025 to 2026 will be the greatest season in Buffalo sports history.
I hope
and if not that one, maybe the season after that, 3 years from now. So
I still think there's potential to have it this season. But I mean, what are we talking? Yeah. Sabres make it like the second round of the playoffs. Bills make the Super Bowl. Is that the best?
Would that be the best season in Buffalo sports ever?
It's a good question. 99 Sabres make it to the finals. Bills lose in the Music City Miracle
that year.
06, 07, 05, 06. Bills suck.
Those are bad.
So now we're looking in the late 70s with the French Connection and Gilbert Perreault. Bills I
was gonna say, what year did the Braves leave at that point?
Oh, Braves left in the 70s too, so they're out of this.
Yeah.
So we're still looking. We're still looking for it. Yeah.
That's an interesting topic. Like, what would be the threshold? Like, what's the minimum threshold to be the greatest season in Buffalo sports history? And it depends on how much you weigh each team. Like, if you weigh them equally, then it wouldn't take that much, because the Sabres getting into the second round of the playoffs and the Bills going to the Super Bowl. Like, was there any time in the early 90s? Like, how good were the Sabres in the early 90s? Like, that,
I'm looking right now.
That's the bar for me, because like the Bills being in the Super Bowl is like, I mean, that's everything, I feel like, for most people in this town. But again, I know that there's Sabres fans who don't necessarily follow the Bills. But
well, it looks like the Sabres did make the playoffs, and then they lost to
what round?
Montreal in the NHL Adams Division final.
The Adams Division?
Yeah. So that would have been before. I want to say that's like when Montreal wins the cup that year. I don't know. They weren't that good. They were 38, 36, and 10. So, and that was in 93. Now let's look, 92. Sabres stumbled into their playoffs, losing their final 7 games in a row.
90 to 91 is only 31, 30, and 19.
And the Sabres won a round. They beat Boston. They swept Boston. And this is where they have the Mayday, Rick Jeanneret's call. And then they lose to Montreal. So Bills go to a Super Bowl. Sabres lose in the second round. You know, that'd probably be close. So they throw the Bandits in there. They win a championship in like 95, I think.
Yeah. I feel like you can't put the Bandits on equal footing as the Bills and the Sabres. No offense to the Bandits, obviously, but just because it's obviously not one of the big 4 sports.
Yeah. And they're like a premier franchise in the NLL, whereas like the Sabres and the Bills, I mean, they've kind of come around, but the Sabres are still considered a dumpster feeder, and the Bills are still a small market team. So,
right.
Whereas the Bandits are like the biggest market in the NLL, which is interesting.
Okay, the 1990 Sabres lost in the first round of the playoffs to Montreal.
Sounds like they ran into their Kansas City Chiefs in the 90s. So what is the greatest Buffalo sports season? You guys should let us know. Comment. Tell us.
So yeah, is that the threshold? So like it's Bills make it to the Super Bowl and Sabres make it to the second level or second round of the playoffs, would tie it, right?
Yeah.
So what would break that is either a Bills Super Bowl win or the Sabres making it to the third round of the playoffs. Yeah. Which would be the conference finals at that point.
And if you add it in with the Bandits championship this year.
Right. Maybe that'd be a good tiebreaker. So the Bandits win another title on top of the Bills making the Super Bowl. But again, it's hard to argue like, oh, it would be the greatest season in Buffalo sports history if the Bills lost the Super Bowl. I feel like so much hangs on that.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a good conversation though. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's probably.
I would like to hear what other people have to say. Maybe people that have been around for that. You know, the people that were fans in the 80s and 90s.
Right. Because there's a couple other seasons too where the Bills were in the playoffs in 88, 89.
Yeah, they got close, losing to the Browns. Right, the drop in the end zone and the dog pound in Cleveland.
Right.
So
yeah,
good conversation.
Be interesting. Now, flip side of that, let's say the Sabres make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. What do the Bills have to do to make it be the
championship game?
AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I still think
you give me conference finals in both sports, definitely.
Yeah.
Dallas almost had it. Dallas did have it. Dallas Stars were in the conference finals and the Mavs were in the conference finals.
Right. So
too bad the Cowboys suck.
Yeah, too bad. But yeah, all this, it gets me giddy because I can't even imagine what the city of Buffalo would look like if both teams got a championship. I mean, like 10 years apart, it'd be incredible. You know, we're just sitting here waiting for a single Super Bowl or a single Stanley Cup final to root for.
There's people in their 90s saying the same thing. So maybe we'll be luckier than they are.
It's really sad when you phrase it like that.
Yeah.
Sorry to all of our listeners over the age of 60.
I mean, no offense to that. I just mean it's tough being a Buffalo sports fan.
It is. But all right. Well, I think that's all we got for today. You guys know where to find us on Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, Google, YouTube, all that stuff at Not Buff Podcast. We'll keep posting some clips. Again, Thank you everyone for listening. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, like check out, we're going to have some mid-form clips there and you can see Brando's beautiful face as much as you want on there. And also Pat when he's on next week with us.
Yes.
So live from the closet. But all right. You got anything else?
No, go Bills.
Sweet. All right. See you guys next week. Go
Don't
Bills.
lose your golf balls.
Right.